Hello info person, this is Anton, and today we're going to discuss Earth's moon once again. And specifically, we're actually going to discuss a relatively new study that potentially solves a somewhat intriguing mystery in regards to its age and in regards to certain inconsistencies when it comes to lunar rocks. In essence, suggesting that the moon could be up to 200 million years older, at least compared to some of the previous assumptions and some of the previous calculations. But this, surprisingly, aligns with something we've discussed very recently in one of the videos in the description. And so let's talk about these mysteries and these resolutions and about what all of this means. But I guess first, let's start with some of the most common assumptions about the moon and about what we think happened 4.5 billion years ago. All of this is of course based on the retrieval of the rocks during the Apollo missions and the extremely detailed analysis of their age. And so in essence, today it's believed that approximately 4.5 billion years ago, when the solar system was just forming, the early Earth potentially collided with a slightly smaller planet we usually refer to as Theia. This is generally referred to as the giant impact hypothesis. And because of the power of this collision, and also because of the inclination and the angle, it potentially produced some kind of a disk of debris orbiting the new Earth that with time coalesced into the moon, with the moon then eventually solidifying and basically becoming a permanent satellite of the planet. And because both the moon and planet Earth essentially formed from the same stuff, they basically contain extremely similar isotopes, making both objects almost identical, but not exactly identical, with one of the main differences being the slightly less amount of iron on the surface of the moon. And all of this was basically discovered when all of these lunar rocks that were eventually dated were discovered to be approximately 4.35 billion years old, which is believed to be the age when the moon solidified and when the global magma ocean basically turned into these solid rocks. This is based on the analysis of many different samples returned by the Apollo. Here's an example of the Genesis rock from the Apollo 15. And as a result of this Theia hypothesis, or the giant impact hypothesis, there have been some additional explanations in regards to planet Earth as well. For example, the explanation for these bizarre giant structures that seem to be inside our planet, the so-called LLSVPs. A lot of scientists now believe that this is actually the leftovers of Theia, the giant planet that collided with Earth. But this is still a hypothesis, and a hypothesis that doesn't really have as much evidence. As a matter of fact, as we've discussed in that recent video, there's now actually even more evidence that this hypothesis might not be super correct. And so just to give you a brief summary of the last video, in essence, it looks like the moon and planet Earth might actually be a little bit too similar, as if they were formed from the same cloud as opposed to being formed from some kind of an impact. But on top of this, something very important was discovered recently that actually makes no sense. And that something comes from zircon crystals. Turns out zircon crystals coming from the moon were now dated to be much older. At least a few of them were 4.46 billion years old, and at least one of them was 4.51 billion years old, almost 200 million years older than previously assumed. And that presents us with something that's difficult to explain. It basically implies that the moon is most likely much older, and this giant impact hypothesis definitely has to be reworked. But before we continue, it's really important to understand why these zircon crystals are actually so good at telling us time. All of this is actually based on a principle known as uranium-lead dating, where we basically know that uranium eventually turns into lead. And we know how frequent this happens, allowing us to basically determine the half-life of uranium to lead conversion. In this case, in order to convert uranium-238 into lead-206, it takes exactly 4.47 billion years. But something really exciting happens to uranium when it basically finds itself in presence of certain crystals. They only allow uranium in and strongly reject lead. In other words, any zircon crystal that's just formed will only contain uranium. It will not contain any lead whatsoever. But over time, this uranium is once again going to start converting into lead, essentially suggesting that any lead inside these crystals was a result of decay and not the result of absorption, which basically makes zirconium crystals perfect tools for radiometric dating. By discovering the amount of uranium compared to the amount of lead inside this crystal, we can usually find a super precise age for any type of a rock, or at least a rock containing these crystals. And it just so happens that many of these lunar rocks that were previously dated to be 4.35 billion years old using other techniques, also seem to contain zircon crystals that were dated to be much older. And that presents us with a somewhat intriguing scenario. It means that the rocks in this case very likely formed after zircon crystals. And it also means that these rocks did actually turn into some kind of a magma ocean after the formation of the moon. And so in this recent study, Francis Nemo, Thorsten Klein, and Alessandro Morbidelli proposed an entirely different scenario. Basically, based on the analysis of the rocks and the crystals, they do propose that the moon extremely likely formed around the same time as planet Earth, at least 4.51 billion years ago. Now in this case, this would be very difficult to explain with that Theia hypothesis, but it could be explained with the hypothesis I described in the last video. Basically a hypothesis involving some kind of a large cloud where both the moon and planet Earth form at the same time. And around this time, a lot of these zircon crystals basically captured that uranium, forming some of the first rocks. But eventually, the entire surface of the moon was resurfaced, or just to rephrase this, it became molten, turning into a very large magma ocean. Now because zircon is actually heat resistant, many of these crystals survived and eventually got deposited into new rocks, with all of these crystals and rocks now forming an entirely new crust. Crust that now appeared to be at least 160 million years younger. And here I guess the main question is, okay, so what exactly happened to the moon? Why did it suddenly melt again? And why was the entire surface molten for at least 100 million years? And well, here the explanation is very similar to what happens to Io orbiting Jupiter. We might have had an extremely strong tidal interaction with the planet, possibly as a result of some kind of an eccentric orbit, once planet Earth and the moon solidified and started orbiting each other. So essentially, at first, the orbit was not circular, which exerted enormous tidal forces on the moon, making it stretch so much that it eventually melted. And though the orbit became circular over time, this possibly took at least a few million years. And so during this time, the surface of the moon was melted, finally solidifying 4.35 billion years ago, which would very neatly explain why the lunar rocks contain samples that seem to be both 4.35 and 4.51 billion years old, but most importantly implying that both the moon and planet Earth formed at almost exactly the same time, but probably not as a result of a giant impact. And this would also explain why we don't seem to see as much iron on the surface of the moon, which would very likely just sink into the moon when it became molten during those first 200 million years. And the thing is, molten moon or even volcanism on the moon is not something that should be unexpected. As a matter of fact, the famous lunar mare, or these black patches, are basically a sign of ancient volcanism that very likely happened 1.2 billion years after the formation of the moon, and are also somewhat mysterious and somewhat difficult to explain, especially because they seem to exist only on one surface of the moon, with the opposite side being entirely different. You might want to check out some of the previous videos in the description that do tackle this mystery as well. But in essence, a lot of these recent studies from just the last few months seem to have completely rewritten what we know about the moon and started to question a lot of assumptions a lot of scientists took for granted, specifically the assumptions in regards to giant impact hypothesis and the age of the moon itself. And right now, based on the evidence we have, it really looks a lot more likely that the moon is very old and extremely likely formed at the same time as Earth, possibly not as a result of an impact. And the evidence for this right now is kind of difficult to explain otherwise. So on that note, we'll definitely come back and talk more about this once there are some more studies or more explanations. For now though, basically this opens up the mystery of the formation of the moon once again. Basically we're back to not knowing when exactly the moon formed and how it formed. So yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. And so until future discoveries or until someone else comes up with some other explanations, that's pretty much all I wanted to mention. Thank you for watching, subscribe, share this with someone who loves learning about space and sciences, come back tomorrow to learn something else, support this channel on Patreon by joining channel membership or by buying the Wonderful Person t-shirt you can find in the description. Stay wonderful, I'll see you tomorrow, and as always, bye bye.